Hi, my name is Jen and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you how I get rid of all my breakouts in my T-zone with only one ingredient. If you want to know how I do it, then please keep watching. So if you clicked on this video, you probably suffer the same issue that I think 95% of the population suffers from, and that's a really oily T-zone. In my case, I wear glasses and I have a lot of breakouts right here. So one way that I found that is super effective in treating this is through clay masks, as you probably guessed from the thumbnail of this video. But specifically, we're going to talk about bentonite clay masks. So there's actually 5 different types of clay masks. There's white, blue, green, red, and yellow. So bentonite clay by nature has a green creamy color, which I'll discuss later on due to its natural composition. So let's talk a little bit about bentonite clay in general. So bentonite clay is a sediment that comes from volcanic ash. And since it's an earth derivative, it contains a lot of traces of heavy metals, micronutrients, and natural minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and iron. Actually, the magnesium and the iron is what gives the clay its greenish color. It becomes green after a process called oxidation. So the reason why we're talking about bentonite clay specifically in this video is because it is super good in absorbing oils due to its natural composition. So actually bentonite clay is negatively charged, and when it's mixed with a solvent such as pure water, the water actually activates it and it creates a high negative charge. And since most of our toxins in our body are positively charged, the bentonite clay clips onto these impurities, and it absorbs it, and basically this is how it removes and absorbs our impurities, such as pimples, blackheads, toxins, you name it, both internally and externally. Actually, if you look into history, way back when, people used bentonite clay both internally and externally. People used to, and they still do, drink bentonite clay because it's supposedly really good for your digestive system due to its high absorption levels. And of course, it's good externally because it draws out the impurities from our epidermis. I'm not going to talk about the chemistry of bentonite too much, but briefly explaining to you, bentonite clay is a 3-layer structure and it has a very high cation exchange rate, which means it produces negatively charged charge very rapidly. Therefore, it draws out these impurities that I talked about before. Now let's talk about what bentonite clay is the best for. So bentonite clay is really good for it's good for normal skin, for combination skin, which is what I have, but it's also really good for oily skin and for acne-prone skin. Obviously, if you use this one time, it's not going to cure your issues and it's not going to draw out all those impurities. So that's why usually clay masks, they're done in courses, in 10-time courses, meaning you're supposed to do this mask every other day, 10 times. And then once your issues start resolving, you should continue this procedure once a week. Bentonite clay is also really good externally for detoxification. You can use this on your underarms or for foot masks. They actually had a study done in 1995 with 4 doctors about poison ivy and how bentonite clay has the ability to draw out an oil that we're allergic to, found in poison ivy, which is called urushiol. Hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, if you're interested, I will link it in the description box below. But it's a really interesting study that how strong the absorption rate is of bentonite clay to extract this oil from our skins that we're allergic to. So, mind-blowing. So, luckily, there's pretty much no ingredients necessary to make this mask. It's literally just bentonite clay and some clear water. It's really important not to use tap water, which I talked about in my previous video, Common Skincare Mistakes. If you're interested, click the link up top. Because we talked about the natural composition of bentonite clay, and since it has since it has trace minerals and trace heavy metals, it's not going to be a good idea. This is also why it's not a good idea to mix it with tap water, and why it's better to use distilled water or other solvents like yogurt, milk, rose water, things like that. And that's why a lot of people recommend not mixing this mask with any metals. So no metal spoon, no metal pot, because if you mix bentonite clay in something metal or with something that's metal, it will just completely destroy the natural composition of bentonite clay, and you won't get any benefit from it. That's why you can either use a porcelain dish, or what I'll be using today is a plastic cup, bowl, and you should use a spoon, but I'm using a plastic knife. And you're gonna need also a brush to apply this mask on your face. So let's start cooking this mask. As I said, it's super simple. You just need bentonite clay, distilled water, a spoon, a brush to apply your product, and something to mix with that's non-metal. So let's begin. The proportions for this recipe are 1:1, meaning 1 tablespoon of bentonite clay and 1 tablespoon of water. So let's begin. And you see how it's this green, light green, creamy color? That's exactly how your bentonite clay should look like as well. So we're gonna add it into our dish, and then we're gonna take the same proportion of water and we're gonna start mixing. Also keep in mind that since due to its tri-layer structure, you don't want to keep it on your face for too long. Otherwise it can really dry up your skin. Okay, so you should in the end get this kind of consistency. So here I'm just getting my hair out of my face by making a ponytail, making sure that my skin is prepped and clean. As much as I love Ferreos, I highly recommend not using one of these when I have breakouts to prevent spreading it. So we have the mask here, taking a little bit on our finger, and here I start to gently place it on my T-zone area. You don't want to press too hard into the skin, even though this is a pretty dense mask, but you just want to create an even layer. And you're going to wait about 10 to 15 minutes. This is how your mask should look like when it's dry, and you're going to want to wash it off with lukewarm water. You see that I scrunched my face a bit. The mask can be a bit drying, so I really prefer using this super moisturizing aloe vera that I grow in my house. And I just spread it all over my skin because it's hydrating, nourishing, and I want to make sure that my skin is hydrated. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, and I would super appreciate it if you would leave your feedback and comments in the comment section below. Bye!